if we are a competitor, we must also do competition style training. Okay. So this is another style of training that we need to get in, and the approach in the competition training. I still don't want to say it's win or lose, but we are definitely going out there to always play our A game. So in my academy, competition training is on Saturdays, and I like to tell my students that are in there, okay, we're doing our A game hardcore all day that day, and we're doing specific training. We're doing like different scoring drills and finishing drills and defense drills, all these sort of things. But what I want them to understand is what happens that day is the data to set them up for how they're going to train the next week. All right. Because when they try to do their A game and they got hit with this and they got hit with that and it didn't work, that's the data that you're collecting that you can set up for yourself to go into Monday's training, knowing exactly what you need to work on, what you need to focus on, what you need to add to, what brainstorming sessions, what specific trainings you need to do are set up from what happens on that Saturday when you're only doing A game. That gives you that competition data. All right. This is why when you do a competition, you get so much improvement because you can find out exactly where you stand real quick. All right. First, do you even have an A game? If you don't, well then, you're going to get hit with that right there on day one. I don't even know what I want to do. So then they get to do whatever they want to do because you don't have a plan. But then once you make your plan, it's one thing to pull it off in training when you're very comfortable and you're all with your friends. It's another thing to pull it off when the heat is on and they have their own plan. Can you still execute your plan when they have their plan and the nerves are kicking? And that's when you get real life data. Oh, wait, I thought I was already a master of this, but turns out I need more repetition and I need to do this more and I need to get better at it. And I still am missing a grip, or I'm still not getting this angle, or I rushed, or I did this, or I did that. And then we can go back in and know exactly what we have to work on for the next, camp or series of, or a period of time that we have until the next competition. That's what I try to bring into those Saturday trainings, is that mindset of we're here to collect data on this day, but we are also here to push ourselves physically, which in a way is the mental conditioning. All right. So it's 100% understood that in Saturday trainings, myself included, everybody in the room at some point is going to get pushed to the point of exhaustion, pushed to the point where, they got to dig deep, right? You got to dig deep, especially if we're really replicating a competition, in a regular training day, if someone passes your guard, you might decide, I'm just going to stay tight, try to defend, make sure I don't get submitted. And at some point the clock is going to ring. But if it's Saturday competition training day, what if that's the final? Are you going to lay there and accept that guard pass and just let the clock run out and go home with a silver medal? Or are you going to freaking give everything you have to figure out a way to get out of there and push yourself and not accept it and go that much further physically, which really comes down to your mental, what's going on in your head? Are you, ready to go that far? Are you ready to give everything you actually have and push yourself to the point of exhaustion to have the chance to come back and still win that match, still win that moment? And that's something we'll get into with our mindset pillar, how that has to be developed, that has to be trained, and it has to become a habit, because you can't just never do that and then show up on game day and just assume that when that moment arrives, you're going to respond accordingly. You may or may not. All right. It must be honed. It must be trained. It's like a muscle that needs to be trained. It needs to be developed. So when that time comes, you already know you got what it takes. And it's just like switch is on. I know what I got to do. It's not over till it's over. I'm fighting as hard as I need to, and I'm going to make it happen no matter what happens. That is all mindset. That is how you train yourself to stay positive no matter what situation we're in. And that's going to be the core of our mental pillar. But that's what also competition training is all about.